Hello there, and welcome to Women's Business.
My name is Dr. Marianne Shallcross Smith, known to most as Dr. Daycare, and this is my co-host, Amy Vogel. We'd like to welcome you to our mentoring program designed to educate our community on issues facing working women. We will be speaking to our guests in the areas art, sciences, health, education, law, medicine, politics, community service, military, and business.
The goal of the show is to provide information that comes only from personal experience and to pass this information down to our daughters, nieces, neighbors, family, and friends. Much of the content will relate to the guest speaker's journey in their profession, what they have learned most about this process, and what they wished they had known before this journey began. Since women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of our economy, my guests will close with what lesson they would like to pass on to the viewing audience.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us on Women's Business. We are honored to welcome Lauren Fagnant, who's going to talk today about Lauren's life. Hi, Lauren.
Hello.
How are
I'm going to put all my
Very good. How are
questions
you?
down because it's going to be a free-flowing show. Tell us a little bit about you.
So I am a director for Dr. Daycare. I am now in the Pawtucket Concord location. I was at the Smithfield location for 5 years as a preschool teacher there. And so I'm just learning my new role now
Nice.
and everything.
Now, Lauren, on top of all this, but you also do a lot of volunteer work.
I do.
So why don't you explain a little bit about your volunteerism?
Sure. I belong to the Elks Lodge in Woonsocket, and the Elks is all about volunteering and helping the community. They help special needs and veterans and homeless and everything like that. I'm actually on the committee for the Special Needs Children's Christmas Party, where all the kids get Christmas presents, and we have a whole day for them, and we raise funds for their programs.
So how do you find these? Are they kids in Woonsocket or are they kids throughout the state of Rhode Island?
Yes, so we actually go through different agencies throughout Woonsocket, Seven Hills being a big one, and we send out flyers to all of the families of kids with special needs at Seven Hills and throughout Woonsocket and Head Start and everything like that. And we get the kids' Christmas list, what they want for toys, and we have a big party for them.
Oh, that is so great.
I was at a chamber meeting this morning, and I heard it's Giving Tuesday.
It is.
You are the ultimate
Giving
of
Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday. Wow, this is absolutely very appropriate. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for doing that. Wow.
Now I know you also do other things for special needs. Why don't you explain what you do on January 1st?
Oh, yes. So I first met you.
Yes, I take part in the Penguin Plunge in Narragansett. So you fundraise money or donate some money to the Special Olympics, and you jump in the ocean on New Year's Day.
That's quite a commitment to think New Year's Day, January 1st. I mean, I've gone to a few to
Yes.
see the whole. It's absolutely amazing.
It's amazing.
As my son did, I took videos of him, but it's amazing the amount of people who show up,
Yes.
the amount of people who is dedicated to this. And
Yes.
on January 1st,
I
that's
know.
a very,
I know.
how can I put it, hard day to get out of bed. And
It
you
is.
all do it and you make it happen.
Yes, so we get there very early in the morning. I was raised
Yeah.
doing this. I started as a baby. My parents have been doing, my dad's been jumping in, my mom does not.
I don't blame her. I
Now,
gotta be
do you
honest.
jump in?
I do. I
You
jumped in every
do?
year since I was about 7 years old.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
yeah.
you're so
Do you remember what the coldest year was, or the year that you like? I might never do this again.
Yes, there was a year a few years ago before it moved over to Narragansett. It was actually in Jamestown.
yeah.
And there was snow on the ground, and there was some ice at the very edge of the water, and you know, it's cold.
That's
it's very
I would
cold.
never. I could never.
No.
I would faint.
And
Yeah.
it sounds to me like they outgrew Jamestown, right?
They
That's why
did.
they moved to,
That's
I
why
call
it
it
got
Sand
so
Hill
big.
Cove.
Yes,
Yeah, really.
it really got so much bigger year by year. So now there's like thousands of people that go and
Thousands.
do it, and fire departments help out, and They all jump in together. People come in buses.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
really
great,
cool.
it's a great event. It really is. It has I've never put a toe in the water, but I just go to watch and support, and it's an amazing event. It's
It
probably
is.
one of the coolest events I've ever attended in my entire life.
It's my favorite day of the year.
Yes, I can see. What a way to begin the year too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it does help with the new location because there's a lot more space.
A lot
Because
more
I went to the
space.
Jamestown once, and it was like the time you find parking and get there, it's like it was very difficult. Where this is a great parking lot and great area just to
It's
enjoy it.
wonderful.
It's very
Yes,
cool.
Definitely.
Now you are a director at a child care center. You are a full-time student, and you volunteer.
Yes.
How do you balance all of this?
Teach us.
It took a little while for me to be able to do that. I just take it day by day, really. I just go to work, do what I have to do at work, and once I leave work, I go to school, focus on that. I'll do my homework when I have my free time at night after going to school. And then everything else, I really enjoy the weekends now. So either helping at the Elks or just anything else that I do extracurriculars, how I balance it all out.
It's interesting, because that's a question we ask most of our guests, how do they balance it? And the way you just answered that completely I can relate to. People have asked me throughout the years, how do you balance things? I'm like, I just wake up and get through the day.
Right.
If I had to project out,
Yes.
or look what's going to happen a week from now, I don't know if I would want to get up and do all that.
Right,
But
right.
every single day, I'm hearing from you, works out.
Right.
You know, I used to, like, many times when it snowed, they called school off or something. Even going back to high school, they called school off. I'm like, thank you, I didn't have time to study for that test. And I got an extra day. But sometimes the universe just sets us up for that, too.
Exactly,
It's like you get through the day and it works. You got that philosophy.
Yes.
Where do you think that philosophy came from?
I think I just really learned, I started working full-time pretty much right out of school.
Okay.
So that's when I really learned how to balance all that out. And at the time, I was also a pass worker for Seven Hills while also working at the daycare. So that was actually 2 jobs going on at 18, 19 years old. So I've had some time to adjust to that and really learn how to put it all together.
Sometimes I find it the more I have to do, even though I'm busy, the more I accomplish.
Yes.
If I have nothing to
point
do, I would just sit there and like watch mindless TV for hours.
Exactly.
But
As you told me, the Hallmark Channel.
Oh, I love, who doesn't love a Hallmark movie?
Especially during Christmas.
Oh, it's my
I
favorite
sometimes
pastime.
the coach goes, Mom, just watch the Hallmark Channel. I'm like, I'm going to try that.
It's a great movie.
You know, you don't get to do it that often,
No.
either, Aim.
But it's if I fill the calendar and I do stuff, at least I keep going. Do you know what I mean? And then you, all of a sudden you don't feel busy.
Exactly.
You feel like that's your norm.
Right,
And you
right.
just make it happen and you just keep doing it. And then-
Definitely.
yeah. The only thing that I tried, that I put off is the housework.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm like, okay, someone else can do that.
Exactly.
me, I'll
That's
always
not
be
my
there.
priority list above some things. But
Yeah.
A little bit about school. Tell me what you're studying in school and what
Okay.
subject's your favorite subject.
Well, right now I am majoring in youth development. So I was actually an education major for quite some time, but I found with my new position as a director, I could really flourish with a lot more with youth development because I'm learning education with social work,
Yep.
and it also gives me some experience in nonprofit studies.
Oh, great.
So I'm learning how to run a center with this social work aspect, also including everything that I know about education as well. So youth development so far is a really awesome program. It's very new to Rick. I think it's only about 3 years old.
I was going to say, honestly, I've never heard of it.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
I think they're in their 3rd year now, they were saying.
Wow, I just love the title. It's such a fit, and the way
Yes.
you're explaining it is like, wow, that's where they need to be.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, going from a TA to a preschool lead to a director,
Yes.
tell me the transformation of being in the classroom and supervising children, so to speak,
Right.
educating children, and then going into the office and supervising
Right.
the teachers.
Adults.
Yes, it's been an adjustment. I thought having 18 4-year-olds was a lot, but now I'm in charge of about 30 adults with a bunch of children as well. You definitely have to find a balance there as well. And it's a whole new responsibility, the well-being of the children and just making sure that they're okay day to day, but now I'm also focusing on making sure that these adults are here doing their job every day for the children. So it really is all still the well-being of the children and everything like that. So it's an adjustment. I'm loving it so far. It's a new responsibility. It's a bigger role. I do miss my classroom a lot.
yeah.
and I go in and visit the kids at the old center as much as I can.
Yeah,
so.
you were there with the turkey dance.
I was doing the turkey dance.
Responsibility for those beautiful costumes.
Yes,
So that was a
yes.
nice visit
Yeah.
at your first center.
Yes.
Second.
Yeah. So I always feel very welcome back there. So it's nice to keep in touch with the families. That was the hardest part for me leaving
Yes.
teaching, was not having those kids and those families around me anymore. But I've really gotten to know all the new families at this Pawtucket location. And so far it's been really great learning everyone's names and finding out new things about all of the families.
And for what I understood, you're a very talented pre-K, pre-K teacher. And the good news is your responsibility, your job description as director, you have the 30 adults, you're sprinkling all your magic of teaching and classroom and child development into those classrooms. So it's like when I took that step up, I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? And all of a sudden you look back and say, oh my goodness, look at it, it's all sprinkling everywhere. So they're getting a lot more Laurens in very different ways.
Right.
Isn't that cool?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love
you
sharing
wouldn't know
my
that when
ideas.
you're in the classroom, but when you get out of it and you look back, like, wow, this is pretty good as an administrator.
Right, it is. I love sharing all my ideas with them.
You got the ideas too.
Well, during Thanksgiving, I used to do this with them, and it's cool to see like different things happening that I also used to do.
Yeah.
So,
Time
very nice.
to see how.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, because you're so busy and you're so dynamic, who has mentored you? Who do you feel is one of your biggest mentors to get you to where you are today, or help you?
I've definitely had a few. For sure, my parents. They've
Yay,
really,
Mom and Dad.
they've helped me with, everything that I've wanted to do, and those crazy nights where I'm like, this is too much right now, and they've done really a wonderful job helping me. Also, Danielle and Stephanie from Smithfield, I learned a lot from them at that Dr. Daycare location, just how they ran the center. It's a big center to run, and it flew, the whole flow of the center was wonderful. So I learned a lot, and I take a lot from both of them. So that's definitely helped me a lot.
Because they both have their own way of doing things.
Right.
And their ways together is amazing.
Yes.
And it works out well.
Yes.
It's like synergetic. It just works, which is awesome.
Yes, I love it. So they've definitely helped me as well. And also my grandmother, my meme, she has taken on so many different roles, and I really look up to her for that, because she is exalted ruler of the Elks. She was president of the Emblem Club, which is another part of the and she's just taken on so many different parts of that, and just how she raised 4 children and worked, and she had many different roles at once. So I really look up to her, and I spend a lot of time with her seeing how she does all of that.
That's great. You never really hear today of grandchildren and grandparents hanging out that often, especially as an adult.
Right.
Like you say to me every now and then, oh, I'm going to the Elks on a Friday night.
Right.
And I'm always like, shouldn't you be doing all the things? Like, no, I love it.
No, I love spending time with them, and now my friends will sometimes take part with us there too. So my friends are hanging out with my grandparents now.
Plus,
So
it's nice a young generation getting involved in the Elks.
absolutely,
'Cause
that's how it keeps
down.
going.
Notice they're not trickling down. A lot of the young people are not getting involved in these agencies and associations, etc. So you are going to bring in a whole new spirit for a younger generation, which is fantastic.
It's vital for it to keep going.
That's a plus for the Elks
Yes.
to have you all there. Thank you.
And I'm sure you learn a lot from them as well.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
I'm sure
I do.
Like, I'm sure your issues of the day, they're
Right.
probably like, don't even worry
No.
about that.
No.
You know,
No,
you're not
yeah.
going to, when you're 90, you don't even remember what you did that day.
Right.
It works so well.
Yeah,
not that
so
important,
I've
correct.
formed a lot of new relationships there too. So
That's great.
That's really good.
Now, on top of all this, I also know that I'm going to use the word craft. It could be the incorrect word, so I apologize. So why don't you explain a little bit about how you've gotten into that talent as well?
Right. Okay. So I've always loved art, and I guess another one of my mentors would be my art teacher from elementary school, Mrs. DeRezzo. She was wonderful.
What elementary school was that?
Cumberland Hill Elementary School.
Hey, shout out for Cumberland Hill.
Yes. She was wonderful. She really helped me with learning about art, and I'll never forget a lot of her lessons. Just very basic elementary school lessons, but she went so much more in depth with it because she loved art so much.
Wow.
And on my free time, I like to paint. I love crafting different things. I have recently started a little venture of making dream catchers. And actually last year it turned into where I was sitting at farmers markets at a table with all of my dream catchers and selling them. And it was a big boom for the Christmas season last year, actually. I think I sold over 120 dream catchers.
My gosh, I did not know that. That is amazing.
We actually have one over Avery's bed.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, I was there the other day. It's hanging like right over a pillow. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my, I got to get one. I did not realize that. Wow.
Yeah, so it really took off. I started making them, actually. I had my Nani, which is my other grandmother. I had her doilies given to me, and I turned that doily into the center of the dream catcher. And I just made it, and I hung it on my wall one day because that's how I wanted to preserve that dream catcher. And I posted a picture, and it just blew up from there, and everybody wanted them. So I've made all different variations, and it's a lot of fun.
And how did you learn how to do it?
So I've always liked weaving things, like macrame and everything like that. So I actually just looked up a few tutorials on Pinterest and online, and I started from there.
Got to love the power of the internet. It is amazing.
Yes.
To me, it's still magic.
Definitely.
To think you go and get a tutorial on dream catchers, and then you start making them,
Right.
making money, and going to like a little entrepreneur here. I love it. Wow.
Yeah, so that was a lot of
Cool,
fun.
so neat.
That's amazing. You also...
You know a lot about
I know a lot about Lauren, okay?
And why do you know a lot about Lauren?
Lauren's babysat my daughter. I mentor her now for work.
You're a lucky lady to be
I'm
in her
on
life.
Facebook. She's on Facebook. You know, all those ways you learn people. So Lauren comes from, I'm going to say your father has a green thumb.
Yes.
So Andy and I tried to start a garden, and we were doing pretty well. Well, now it's over, but we learned a lot from your dad. He once told us a couple of things, but Lauren has this green thumb as well, and made this whole garden at one of our facilities, and it had tomatoes.
There's a lot of tomatoes.
A lot.
A lot of tomatoes. We planted 5 different kinds of tomatoes, and they just blew up. I think we had radishes.
Radishes, that's what it was.
Different herbs, lettuce. I'm trying to remember carrots.
Yeah.
So now the children know that tomatoes don't come from a grocery store, right?
No. And what was really cool with that
Yes.
garden that we had was we put a little farmer's market out in front of the center, actually, just a little basket saying, take what you want, and it was gone every single day that we went and picked something, so that was really cool. Yeah.
So how did you learn to garden? Because I'm going to be honest,
He's trying to get that green thumb, Aim.
I have to buy it from the plant. I can't buy it from the seed. I
Okay.
cannot.
So
go
when
to
should she
seed.
start
Yes,
seeding?
yes.
Not the word
There
seeding,
we
I
go.
made that up.
Some need to start now.
Oh, gee,
I'm behind already.
My dad is very into gardening. We have many raised beds all throughout our yard. He has a greenhouse, and one of the spare rooms that we have is actually just all plants that he starts from seedlings. And once they get bigger and it gets warmer out, he plants them in the ground. And my grandfather lived with me my entire life. He also is the one who started the garden in our yard. And so now my dad has now taken it over, made it much bigger, so that garden has been there for 25 years now. So
wow.
So I always used to watch my grandfather and hang out with him in the backyard there, and then my dad, that's all he does. He loves it. He's there all day long.
That's amazing.
I had a wonderful neighbor who loved gardening, Mr. Bishop. He was just a great, great guy I had through my life, and I went back in the neighborhood when I got old and had my children. He still had this huge, huge garden. It had to be 10 feet by 10 feet. And he told me the best types of gardens, he had to have this garden 40, 50 years. He told me the best types of gardens are the one you just keep planting over and over and over, because the soil becomes enriched.
Exactly.
So 25 plus years.
Yes.
When you said that, I'm like, I went back to Mr. Bishop telling
Yes.
me. He goes, Marianne, you're starting a little tiny garden here, which mine was probably 2 feet by 4 feet. He goes, but you got to come back to the same place every year to enrich the soil.
Right.
So that's true.
And kind
I
of
guess.
compost it in a way.
Oh, God, Mr. Bishop, yay.
That's amazing. I'm not very good at gardening.
No.
Lauren's
I mean,
going
it
to
takes a
mentor you
lot.
on gardening.
I got some tomatoes.
Okay.
We had tomatoes for days. I didn't know what to do with them all.
Those, I feel like tomatoes really grow.
They do. I think it's the best thing for me, honestly.
Definitely.
I feel successful at
And you
that.
can make so much with tomatoes, so that's
Exactly.
good.
We do. We made salsa, tomato sauce. I kept
And
going.
it's
do
great
well.
for the children to know that, honestly, that I was joking around that tomatoes don't come from Stop and Shop or Dave's
Right.
or Market Basket
Right.
or Whole Foods. They come from a garden. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
That
I mean,
was-
it's amazing to take and have the children make salsa. I call it gravy, Italian gravy. You know what I'm saying? To see this is where it comes from.
Yes.
It's a great lessons for children.
Yeah, they were very involved with that garden at that center, and I really didn't expect it to flourish as much as it did. Honestly, it was beautiful, and I took them out there every day to water it, and they would prune it with me and pick whatever they saw. So it was really cool to see them learning that way.
It was very cool. I remember the one day you went there after you switched positions, that radish, and you're like, who is watching the garden?
Yes, I might just go back just to take care of the garden from now on.
So what lessons have you learned? I know you're young still, but going from high school to college, and I know you changed colleges, to working, what lessons have you learned along the way to help you figure out what you want to do next?
I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed, and I will admit I can very easily get overwhelmed, especially when you have a lot going on.
Yep.
It's really important to step back and look at the bigger picture, and that this is all for a reason. And you know, sometimes you're given that idea that college has to be done in 4 years, and initially that was always in the back of my mind. And I'm past that 4-year point now.
Good for you.
And I'm still going and I'm still learning, and that's the biggest part for me, is that I can work and I can go to school and manage all of these things, because there's a much bigger picture in a couple of years from now where I will be able to look back and know that I was doing the right thing.
What you just said about college being done in 4 years was so significant. Thank you for saying that to the people who are watching out there. There are a lot of people who believe that. I get out of high school, I go to college, I got to do this in 4 years. And some drop out and will never go back because I can't meet that 4-year mark.
Right.
And here you just bounce through that and just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. As I say to many friends and family and now my grandchildren, one course at a time.
Right.
One course at a time
definitely.
will sooner or later get you a degree.
Correct.
But you just got to stay committed to that.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're going to abolish that 4-year thing, and thank you for bringing it up, because
Yeah.
it's still hanging around. It
Yes,
really is. Because
it
I mean, that
is.
was a belief of my system too.
Right.
Like, why go to college? Like, you can't do this in 4 years.
Right.
Takes 15 or 20 sometimes. But
Right.
the bottom line, you still get that degree.
Yes.
Very
so
good point to bring
it's
up.
very important to just keep going.
Just keep going. Right on, Lauren. Just
Yes.
keep going. Just keep going.
That's how I did my master's. I just took one class. I was like, oh, I
Yes,
don't
you
want.
did.
And then I took another one. I kept taking it, and finally I was like, oh, maybe I should actually enroll.
Right.
Because you could take it without. And then I was enrolled in a program, and next thing I know, I have my MBA.
Right.
Yep.
Because I didn't know what I
Exactly.
wanted to do, but
Right.
I loved being in classroom. I loved learning in that style.
Yes.
That's something I do miss as I get older. So from 5 until you graduate, let's say 18,
Right.
and then a lot of people go right after.
Yes.
And then that's 4 more years, and however long, and then eventually it's like stops.
Right.
And you never think just to take a class to take a
Yes.
class.
No.
Right.
You
no.
feel, it's like I feel people feel like they need to take a class to accomplish a degree
Accomplish a degree.
Right. Exactly.
versus just to learn.
Right.
And
Right.
It's too bad. I feel like be more open if it was just take the class to learn, not to maybe do something with it or maybe not.
Right.
I think we have it so systemized.
Yes.
We're taking away the meaning.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
And the other piece too is take it one course at a time. Not only will get you there, but it also it's a way of socialization.
It is.
There are people in your class you get to know. That, I mean, I could think of going back to college late 10 years after high school, as I call it, late bloomer. But some of the people I met in night courses at God bless CCRI
Right.
are the people I'm still friends with today.
Exactly.
So it can become a very social way. It's a great way to be social.
And a lot of people in the same programs as you.
Yes, they follow you right through.
Yeah, so you know them, and then you can work together in those classes and have that common knowledge and that bond while you're both doing the same thing and looking for the same goal.
Now, so in undergrad it wasn't as big, but when I was in grad school, group projects were huge.
Right.
They want you to do group projects for everything.
Yes.
So at first I was kind of timid. I was like, first of all, I don't like to give a control.
Right.
So I was like, I'm like someone else control
Amy,
my
I'm
grade.
glad you admitted that. Amy just
I was
admitted
like,
that on
ooh.
the air. Thank you, Aim. It's really good.
But after like
It's
the
the first step.
Yeah, see? But after like the second or third class, I was like, it was interesting.
Right.
And you actually you were learning things from someone else from a whole different perspective.
Right.
It's like, I was like, oh, whatever. It's just great to see people work together. Are they still doing a lot of group work?
So not as much group work.
Okay.
Well, not outside of class. We're definitely, the classes that I have, because it's education and social work, that's all working together. You have to do that.
Yes.
So my teachers that I have had are super big on in-class group assignments, which is fine. I too dread the outside of school group projects. I don't know why. Everyone's got such different schedules.
Well, that was the
you
thing. It was
know?
trying to coordinate schedules became very difficult.
So I actually have not had one.
Really?
In my 8 years of being in school, I've not had one outside of school
So everything's
project.
done within the classroom setting.
In the classroom.
a good
And then the
idea.
bigger things are on your own outside.
Okay.
I'm sure your professors have learned from that because the people go out, they leave the class and go to their real life, as they call it.
Exactly.
They cannot be there at 11 o'clock. They can't be there at 6
Right,
o'clock.
right.
So if it gets accomplished in the classroom setting, that's going to meet their goal that they need to meet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone has such different lives. Some people work at night, some people work during the day, some people have families, some people, it's just,
Right.
it becomes complicated.
It does. It definitely does.
So we have a few minutes left. Is there anything we didn't ask that you want to tell us about that we're missing here?
I think that
the
was...
life of Lauren here?
I know. I feel like we got
I
the
feel like
great
I have
show.
a very complex life.
I love it. I love it.
You probably never thought about it this much in one
No.
30-minute setting.
I have
Keep
not.
watching the video over and over again.
Right.
You know about your life.
No, I'm just, I'm very thankful for the ability to have been working full-time, learning my lessons through there, and being able to go to school. And Dr. Daycare provided me with that. And I say that over and over and over.
Thank you.
I don't think I would have been able to do both of those things had I been anywhere else or gone a different path. So that also goes back to the bigger picture. This is helping me get to the bigger picture and accomplishing my goal of finishing school. And
And it'll be here before you know it.
it will be.
And you'll look back in 10 years and be like, oh my gosh, that was like a blip on the
Yes.
whole life
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
So I always go back to this question now and then. I'll ask all of us. Usually fourth grade is when you decide what you want to be when you grow up. Like somehow it's by fourth grade. Like, okay, what do I really want to be in that seat as a fourth grader in a classroom? And I'm like, this is what I want to be when I grow up. Did you ever have that thought on
It's
third, fourth, fifth
exactly,
grade? What
that
was
year
it?
is exactly fourth
It's
grade.
usually around
Mr.
fourth grade
Tanazio, my
development.
fourth
I'm a
grade teacher.
developmentalist. It's all about development. So
Yes.
What did you think you wanted to be?
A teacher.
A teacher.
Yes,
How about
from
you?
right from the beginning.
Right
That's
from the
what I wanted to do.
beginning. Yeah.
Well,
How about you,
I wanted
Amy?
to be two things.
Okay.
So my favorite Barbie was Business Barbie. I like that she had a briefcase with the jacket, and then you could take the jacket off. She had a glittery dress, and the briefcase turned into a pocketbook. It was amazing. And I was like, oh, I'd like to be Business Barbie, but a lawyer at the same time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did Santa Claus bring you that Barbie?
I probably was like fiending for that Barbie. It was all pink. It was awesome.
I gotta see if they still make that Barbie.
Right.
Actually, I became my adopt a family in Pawtucket, and on the list was Barbie dolls. So actually, I went out yesterday and bought 4 Barbie dolls.
I don't think they make
I
that
did
one.
not see that one in.
No.
Really,
No.
that was all girl power now,
Yes.
Barbie. And I'm gonna go with you, Lauren. I was in 4th grade, sitting there. I know exactly where I was sitting that day, and said, I'm gonna be a teacher.
Yes.
So the kind of the job we're in, we're definitely teaching in more
Exactly.
ways than one. Absolutely. And Amy, I'm gonna check underneath your coat
Maybe-
to see if there's that glitter dress.
Everyone likes a little glitter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
It was a
Great
pleasure.
show.
This was fun.